So it's a breath of fresh air that Pixar waited as long as they did to make this movie, to actually wait for inspiration to hit and for this to be more of a passion project rather than a cash in. Even though this movie took a decade and a half to make. But with that being said, hello YouTube, it's Benny B, and today we're talking about Incredibles 2. Let's get started. So Incredibles 2 stars the same cast as the first movie, besides Dash, who was recasted because after 14 years, his child voice actor wasn't a child anymore. So Incredibles 2 sees the return of the Incredibles family, finally, and sees Elastigirl working solo as a superhero, despite it being illegal after being approached by a pro-superhero company who put a camera in her suit. That way it records everything she does and everything she goes through in hopes of showing it to the public and to those in power to try to overturn the illegalization of superheroing. And while this is going on, Bob struggles with trying to raise his 3 kids. Dash with his homework, new math, Violet in her dating life, and Jack who steals the show as he begins to develop his superpowers, as seen in the first movie. So Incredibles 2 picks up where the last one left off, with the emergence of Mole Man, and we get this really cool scene where we get to see the whole family in action, which is really fitting because this does not feel like a sequel to a movie that is 14 years old. In fact, the family feels like the same family we watched back in the day. The movie even tackles an issue that was very prevalent in the first movie, that being the illegalization of superpowers. And we get to see the family kind of having to cope with that reality. The kids, mainly Dash and Violet, having to lead a normal school life while keeping their identities hidden, and the parents having to find a way to get superheroes legalized again, and being so that way their kids are able to use their powers and just be themselves once they become adults, which is really cool. Another thing that really borrows from the first movie is the animation. So the animation looks, I can't do it justice. The animation's really beautiful in this movie. It's really well done to the point where with Violet and Elastigirl you can actually see the strands of hair, which, you know, ironic coming from me. But despite the upgrade though, it does not take away from the style set in the first movie, which is great. It does wonders for the film. Now, the story can be very cliche at times, especially when it comes to Bob watching the kids. Yeah, like the whole the mom leaves and the dad can't handle the house and the kids cliche has been done to death. That being said, the interactions between Bob and his daughter, Violet, and her dating life is funny, and seeing Bob slowly lose it as he learns of Jack's powers and trying to contain him and everything is just hilarious. That being said, if the first Incredibles movie was Bob's movie, Mr. Incredible's movie, then this is Elastigirl's movie. She feels like the perfect pick to be a solo superhero in this universe. She's very charismatic, and her character is very caring, at least when it comes to civilians and everything, compared to Bob, which is just like, smash, 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 I saved you. And Elastigirl's interactions with the main villain, coming from Elastigirl's point of view on superheroes and the villains, let's say hatred towards superheroes, really makes the situation feel legitimate. That being said, the main villain really falls flat for me. It's one of those who's the person behind the mask kind of deal. And me and the people I went to the movie with, we're kind of whispering back and forth, we kind of figured it out very early. Oh, it's this person. Yeah, I figured. I wish it would have did a better job hiding the person's identity, and especially later on in the film during the climax, the main villain just feels super underwhelming in the final acts of the film. Yeah, like especially after having the villain from the first movie be so iconic, and him actually having a really good motivation, and him feel like he could actually be a threat to the family compared to who the villain ends up being in this film, just really left me disappointed. That being said, the action scenes in this movie are really well done. The actual fight scenes are few and far in between. It's mostly, oh, we gotta stop this thing from running into this thing, more like environmental hazards kind of deal. That being said, the few fight scenes that are in the movie are very impactful. There's one in particular that I'm gonna be very vague about. It's basically Violet gets in a fight with a other superpowered individual, and it's just a very, even though it's a very short fight, it's very like armrest grabbing, very like, I don't know, it's just a very intense and gritty fight. So Incredibles 2 was definitely worth the wait. It's really good that this movie is able to stand out on its own, which really helps you forget that this is a sequel to a 14-year-old movie. My gripes with the main villain, and also kind of wishing that Mr. Incredible had more fight scenes or even more screen time in general. I think this is a solid film and a very easy recommendation.